Hey, what's up guys, it's Banu here from Andro.com. Today we're going to be talking about a very important and timely topic, and that is solar power and how you can go ahead and make an investment into solar and have zero electricity bills moving forward. I actually decided to make this video because a lot of people were asking me about solar systems and how to actually go ahead and select the right system for you in Sri Lanka, because there are a lot of options, a lot of vendors and all of that. So how do you select the right solar system for you? So that's why I thought of making this detailed video where I'm going to be talking to you guys about the entire process. So for my recently built house, I got a new solar system installed. So because of that, I was able to experience the entire process. Before we get started, I want to make a small disclaimer that I'm making this video right now in 2023. If you're watching this video down the line, just do your research and decide which system is right for you. This video is going to be lengthier than a typical Andro video. That's because there's a lot of information for us to discuss here about the solar system. And I'm actually going to be breaking this video down into different parts so that you get an understanding about the entire process from start to finish. And I will even show you the results that I've got, not only in extremely sunny conditions, but also rainy days and how it went for me. So I want this to be one of the main videos that you watch right here in Sri Lanka before you purchase a solar system. So that's why I want to cram a lot of information into this. Hopefully this will be useful, and I will have timestamps down below in the description so you can easily skip to whichever part you want. But I would highly recommend you to watch this video entirely without skipping so that you don't miss any important information. While you are at the description, definitely if you are new to my channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button as well, because that keeps me motivated to make more videos just like this in the future. And definitely share this video with a friend who's looking to pick up a solar system in Sri Lanka. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. Now that we have got the introduction out of the way, we have 9 chapters to go. So let's go ahead and get started. Usually in my videos I don't really use notes, but in this particular video I have to, because there's so much of information for me to get out to you guys, and I want to make sure that I get across all of this information to you. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and open up this Google Doc that I have everything noted down, everything that I want you guys to know about installing a solar system right here in Sri Lanka. So let's get started with part 1. So part 1 is the importance of getting a solar system. First things first, why do you actually need a solar system in Sri Lanka? Well, the electricity rates have been climbing up. Not only in Sri Lanka, even in other countries, the electricity rates have been going up quite a lot. So if you invest in a solar system, then the electricity will be generated through the solar panels, and that will provide the electricity for you. And not only that, this can also be used as an investment. So whatever you generate and the balance, you can actually sell to your electricity company, and they will be paying you in return for that. And I will be discussing further about that in an upcoming section of this video. Also, apart from that, Sri Lanka is a country where we get sunlight throughout the year, even in rainy seasons. Now, right now we are in September, right? Like, it's raining, and at the same time sometimes it's quite sunny as well. So when I show you guys the results of the solar system that I have, you guys will get an understanding about what I mean. Because abroad, like if you take for an example US, there are different seasons that they have to adjust. Sometimes in winter there are days that they don't really get any sunlight at all. But here in Sri Lanka we are lucky like that. So throughout all 12 months we are having sunlight. So because of that, we can capitalize on that and get the maximum return. So having sunlight throughout the year means the amount that we invest on the solar can be recovered quite sooner than in other countries as well. So if you invest in a solar system, you really don't have to worry about the electricity prices going up. The reason is the electricity rate is calculated through the number of units that you actually use, right? So when the government actually increases the electricity rate, they will increase the price for a unit, right? So the advantage is, if you have a solar system, if your usage is about 500 units per month, even next month after they increase, it's still going to be 500 units, right? So if your solar system is able to generate that for you, you are not going to be, you don't really have to worry about that price increase by the government at all. You're going to have zero electricity bill, and I will be showing you guys the results towards the end, like I said. so that you guys can get an understanding about how much you can actually save and how much you can actually get as an investment, as a return to your bank account as well. So also another reason to consider solar system is because it's quite good for the environment as well. We are not going to be relying on those fossil fuels anymore. We are actually going to be focusing on this renewable energy. So that way, because we are using the solar system, right, you are having your own, it's like you are having your own electrical system at home that is able to generate the solar electricity that you that's able to generate the electricity that you want. And that way you're doing something good for the environment as well, right? You're not going to be relying on the electricity that is generated through different types of fuel, and that in return will be doing damage to the environment. This way you are using the natural resources to come up with your own electricity, and also you are giving something back, so that's going to be something really great as well. And also as an investment purpose, this solar system actually makes sense because you get a lengthy warranty for this as well, and on top of that there are a lot of additional benefits. If you pick the right combination of components, you can get a good return there as well. Especially if you have a big enough roof that's able to support a good system, you'll be able to get a good return as well. So I'll talk more about that in our upcoming section. And another reason why you might want to consider getting a solar system, this is something that a lot of people don't really talk about, but if you install a solar system on your roof, that will actually increase the durability of your roof as well. Not only that, if you have a slab, let's say you don't have a roof at all, you just have a slab on top, right? If you have that, and if you install a solar system, you're going to be fixing proper stand system, and then on top of that only you will be mounting the panel. So if you have that, the solar systems will be absorbing all of the sunlight, so the slab underneath is going to be protected, and you're going to see your house is not going to be as warm as having the slab right on top, because the solar panels are going to absorb all that solar energy. So that way you can, I have seen some people claiming that it can reduce up to 50-60% or sometimes even more when you have the solar panels on top. So that's also something to consider depending on which situation you fall to. Regardless of whether you have a roof or a slab, you will be in the advantage, because the solar panels will be either improving the durability of the roof or making your slab feel cooler. So now that we have spoken about the benefits of getting a solar system installed, now let's talk to consider before you get into a solar system. There are a couple of types of solar systems that are available. So there are off-grid systems where you can get without the CEB connection, you need to have a separate battery for that, or there is an on-grid connection, which is what I personally went for, which is always tied with the CEB or the LECO. CEB is the Ceylon Electricity Board, or LECO, depending on the area that you live in. Sometimes you will be having CEB connection or a LECO connection right here in Sri Lanka, or if you're watching from abroad, your mileage might vary. So I personally have the LECO connection for my new house, so my connection is always tied to LECO. And there's also an option called the hybrid option that you can get a combination of that. You can have a battery, and also you can get the LECO connection, and you can combine the two, so you are always storing electricity in the battery as well. And when the right time, let's say there's a power cut, the battery will kick in and make sure that you have continuous power, and whatever is remaining will be sent to your electricity company as well. So you have to consider which option is right for you when you consider all three of these options. The difference is in the price. If you just get off-grid system where you don't need LECO connection at all, you can install this. This is good for a smaller house, where you don't really need to worry about getting all those approvals and all of those things. You can go with a system like this. But I personally recommend a lot of people to go with the on-grid, because you always tied with LECO and you get a return out of it. Let's say if you go with the on-grid off-grid system, which is what you have, which is the one that you have a battery, and you don't sell anything to LECO at all. So whatever excess that you generate in a particular month will be wasted, right? If there's no power cut at all in a particular month, then what's the point of having that system? Because you don't get anything in return, right? But if you go with an on-grid system, you are using it for your particular day-to-day activities, and then on top of that you are selling the excess to the electricity company, and you will be able to make a good return out of that. This can actually be quite profitable if you do the calculations and see. And also, if you add in a hybrid like a battery, you can even take it a step further, because then you have the battery in case you need. So right now I don't have a battery installed onto my system, because I thought it's not really necessary, because I have a generator, backup generator as well. So for me personally, it didn't really matter having a battery, and the investment for that didn't really make sense personally for me, considering that we don't really have power cuts anymore as of right now. But in future, if that situation changes, I can always install the battery and a suitable hybrid inverter and get that done. So you can consider your situation and decide which one you should go with, considering the price, because all of these things, like especially when you add in batteries and all of that, the price will keep going up. So you have to decide which one do you need to cover first. For me, the goal was to first hit 0 electricity bills and then think about investment after that. And through whatever money that I collect through this system, I can reinvest it back again to get a particular battery or whatever I need later on down the line. So that's how I thought about it. So let me know what you guys think is the best choice for you is down below in the comment section, so that all of us can discuss about that in the comments. So next up, the next prerequisite is you need to make sure that you have a suitable roof. This is extremely important. I can't stress this enough, because you need to have a proper roof in the proper orientation, like the proper alignment, depending on how the sun is coming. So for me personally, I have river little bit over towards that side, and the beach is actually towards this side. So I know for a fact that the sun is coming the sun rises from this side and the sunset is from this side. So when I built the house, I planned accordingly so that I can get the roof that I built is like this, right? So that way, now when the sun rises from this side and sets from this side, throughout the day I'm having continuous power, right? So basically my roof is facing the north and the south. So that way I can maximize my return on that. So if you haven't built a house yet and if you're planning to build one, then definitely consider that scenario. Or else, if your house is already built and if you have existing roof, then at that point you have no option but to consider what is available and then decide with the vendor which one will be suitable for you, right? So just go ahead and discuss with an expert and decide. Usually what they recommend is south or north, depending on the location. That's what I heard from a lot of people, and so far the generation has been quite good, so I think it really works. Also, you need to decide your budget, right? Because these solar systems can be quite expensive. It's one of the main reasons why a lot of people don't go with these systems, because the initial investment here is quite high. But if you actually consider, now for the system that I went with, I did the calculation and checked after the returns that I'm getting and all of that, I'm going to be making my money back. The initial investment, I will be getting it back in less than 2 years for the system that I've gone with. So that's a really good thing, because after 2 years, everything that I get is going to be profit for me, right? This system, if it lasts even, let's consider the warranty time period. Let's say the inverter gets 10 or 12 year warranty, right? Let's consider 10 years. So even if we consider 10 years, if we leave 2 years out, or let's say if we leave 3 years out, 7 years profit will be from, you'll be generating from the solar after, zeroing on your electricity bill as well. But all of that, depends on how you actually take care of your solar system. So that is also very important and something I want to emphasize on. Always make sure you look after your system. I will tell you guys how to do all of that in a later part in this video. So once you decide on the suitable budget for this system, you need to decide, am I going to consider room for improvements in future? Like let's say for an example, your house currently, let's say your electricity bill is about, let's say 500 units per month. So right now maybe you have 2 ACs. But in future, if you have plans to add another 2 or 3 more ACs to the house, then you might have to consider a system, bigger than what you are already getting. Like right now, if you're getting 500 units with 2 ACs, but with 4 ACs, you might be getting close to 800 units sometimes. So it's not a good idea to really consider the exact amount that you get right now, and also you have to consider the degeneration of these solar panels as well, because the solar cells sometimes degrade with time. That is how it is. So you need to consider those things as well when you are coming up with these systems. So if you consider a system that matches your current usage, you might have to do some upgrades down the line to make sure that it stays like that. Another prerequisite that I highly recommend you to do is to have a meeting with your particular vendor, do a site visit, and then get an understanding and have a discussion with them about what is right for you. You have something in your mind, but always talk with the vendor and see what is practical as well, because sometimes with experience the vendor might be able to suggest something better than what is on your mind as well. And depending on the location and the surrounding, a lot of things should be considered. For me personally, because my house is quite tall, the roof is in like the 4th floor area, there's no nothing really around it, so I didn't have any types of interferences, even trees or whatever, not really going to impact my solar panels. But if you have other houses or other buildings around your building, you might have to consider the shadows and all of that also when you are coming up with the system, because the shadows can really impact the amount that you can generate through this solar system as well. So definitely consider those things when you are coming up with the solar system for your house. Now let's get into the third part, that is how to decide the solar system that fits your budget and requirements. Okay, so first thing is you need to consider the number of units in your current bill, not just in one single month. What I personally would recommend you to do is consider the current bill for a year. So before I actually installed the solar system for my new house, I stayed for a couple of months after I moved in here to see what our usage is really like. I couldn't really assume and just get a system. I didn't want to just go ahead and get something for the sake of getting. I wanted to test it out and see and then get. So usually in my case, we get roughly around 850 units per month in this house. But that's because we have a lot of extra things like AC, pool pump and water pumps running, and a lot of automations going on here and there that consumes a lot of electricity. So I also have future plans of getting various ACs for different parts of the house that I haven't really fixed at the moment. So I needed to consider a system that would be flexible for that and even have room for an upgrade later on down the line. So because of that, what I decided to invest in is a 10 kilowatt system. But you can consider your electricity usage and then decide maybe at least have like a 25% room upgrade on top of that. So then you can have that freedom. But I personally would recommend you to have something more. Like if you can have a system that will get you like double of what you get right now, and if you have the budget for that, then that is the ideal scenario, because you will have nothing to worry about. Even if the solar system degrades over time, and if the performance of the panels drop a little bit, you will still be able to recover that through the system that you are going to be investing in. Like I said, this is a long-term investment that we get with this system, right? So that's that. And also, you need to consider the amount of space that is available in your roof as well. Like if you decide with a 10 kilowatt system, you need to have enough space for the 10 kilowatt system. Like let's say for an example, if you are having 550 watt panels, for a 10 kilowatt system, you will have roughly around 18 panels, right? So you need to get the dimensions of the panels and get the vendor to come and do a calculation and see whether the roof is suitable and whether there's enough space for 18 panels in your roof. Like you might be having, like for an example, in my roof I have the solar hot water system as well, so I needed to exclude that part of the roof so that I can install the system. I was initially considering a 20 kilowatt system, but then the investment on that was much higher, and also the space wasn't really enough, so I had to build a separate I have a rooftop part without any roofs at the moment, so I can actually build up a stand and just mount it on top of that as well. But I thought right now there's no real need for that. We'll go with the 10 kilowatt system for now, just to see how it goes, and if everything is good later on down the line, I can go with another system. That's the way that I thought about, because I had to at the end of the day consider the budget requirement as well, right? So you can also decide similarly depending on what you want, and if at any point you need extra support, if you need to decide what system is right for you, I'll be happy to help you out. So you can reach me out on my social media pages. All the links are down below in the description, or you can go ahead and drop a comment down below in this video, so someone who knows about it will definitely help you out, or if I see your comment, I will definitely help you out as well, or else you can always go to a vendor and get the details from them. Next up, let's talk about the most important part. This is part 4, selecting a vendor. There are about 380 plus vendors that are registered with the Sustainable Energy Authority right here in Sri Lanka. So that's the governing body for the renewable energy in Sri Lanka. And because of that number of vendors, what's important is that you talk to a lot of vendors and see what the combination, based on the combination and the price, you can decide the vendor, right? Because some of these people will be suggesting you different brands and different types of inverters that could bring the price down. So you need to consider the quality of the equipment that you get for the price that you get as well. And I have seen some vendors just giving you quotations over on WhatsApp without even a proper agreement or proper document. So if a vendor can't go to the trouble of creating a document for this kind of serious system, then I personally would stay away from that type of vendor, because the important factor here is the solar investment is not a short-term investment. This is a long-term investment, because the warranty of the inverter is typically around 10 to 12 years, and for the panels you get about 25 years warranty, right? So the vendor has to be there for you to get this warranty, right? If the vendor is not there anymore, how exactly are you going to get the warranty, right? So you need to think about those things as well. I got quotations from a lot of people. Lot means I actually got around 100 quotations, because I've been researching on this whole solar thing for about 6 months, and over that time period I spoke to a lot of people, checked the combinations, and finally, before I made my decision to actually go ahead with this and put the green light, I double check the prices, because the price was always fluctuating with the economic crisis right here in Sri Lanka and the dollar rate going up and down. The solar prices were also going up and down at the same time, so I had to decide which time is right for me. So I saw an opportunity when the dollar prices sort of came down, and I decided, okay, this is the time for me to go ahead with this. So I went ahead and invested on the solar system, and I will be explaining to you guys about that whole process as well. So like I said, definitely get a lot of quotations, compare, and as the customer you have the right to ask questions, right? You ask about the panel that you are getting, the inverter that you're getting, the warranty that you're getting, and all of these things, right? And even their past projects, if they have a company profile, if they have been in warranty cases, what do you do? Is it a one-to-one replacement warranty, or is it a repair warranty? Because certain companies will say it's a one-to-one replacement warranty. So in that case, the replacement, since it's a new unit that's coming in, they just have to replace it, right? But if the company says it's a repair warranty, you have to consider that scenario also. That's because, let's assume this inverter, they can't really fix it here, they have to send it abroad to that original country, right? Original company. So in that case, that process is going to take some time, right? So that means for about a month or so, you're not going to have any solar system at all, and that particular month you will have to pay your current bills. So you have to consider scenarios like that as well. Maybe in their agreements they will have certain clauses. I've seen some companies that's giving like for that kind of scenario, they will be reimbursing you your electricity bill in case something like that happens. So just talk with the vendors and see what's good. And also, even you can take a step further and talk with the Sustainable Energy Authority. I'll have the contact details of them down below in the description, so you can talk to them and get an understanding about all of these things that I'm talking about in this video, because I want you guys to have the right understanding before you go ahead and invest into this solar system, because it's a long-term commitment as well. And look at the company's future little bit as well, because it's not just something that you buy and forget. The company has to always attend to it, even for maintenance, and even to make sure that your system is always working well. You can also consider different vendors that are available and then decide who you should go with. Alright, so the next thing to consider is the price of the inverter and the solar panels. So these particular companies will be giving you a quotation based on the type of inverter and the panel that you select. Or if you are not really aware about it, they will give you a quotation based on what they think is best for you. But you can always ask them for updated quotations for different brands. Like for an example, there are a lot of tier 1 brands of solar panels that are available, and inverters as well. So do some research on these companies. These are global companies. Even on Facebook, you will find different global Facebook groups and communities on different brands. Like for example, the inverter that I got was from a company called Solex, and the panels are Canadian panels. So basically, before I got the Solex inverter, I went into this group, I joined it, and I spoke with some people over there and did my research on that, right? I didn't want to go with what the vendor says, but I needed to do my own research as well. In the quotation stage, actually, the vendor actually allowed me to select a different combination. They let me select the JA Solar and Solis combination for the inverter and the panels, and they offered me at a discounted price. So that was one of the systems that I actually selected for the end product. But then the vendor actually gave me the Solax and the Canadian panel option as a higher tier option. But after I actually agreed to go ahead with the project with the JA Solar and the Solis inverter, they actually upgraded me to the Solax and the Canadian panel system. So it was a financial profit for me considering the two quotations. So I went with that. So I was really happy about getting that as well. So just wanted to mention that about the vendor, because they went out of their way to give me the best performing system. So that's pretty good. Not that the JA Solar and the Solis system is bad, that also performs really well. I will show you guys proof for that as well later on in this video, because I have a friend who recently got solar along with me, and I will show you some proof from that, so that you get an understanding that most of these systems work really reliably. Because if you go with a tier 1 brand, you can just see the results online. All of these panels and all of these brands have been getting really good results. If you go through, as long as you get the genuine products, you should be able to get good results out of them. And as long as you get direct sunlight, you should be able to get a good outcome from the solar system that you invest in. So make sure that you decide the right panel and the inverter based on your budget and all of those things. So once the vendor is selected, the next thing is the agreements and all of that, and also you need to make the relevant payments. That is the next most important thing. So make sure that there's proper legal paperwork before you make any type of payments, right? Don't look at WhatsApp messages or any type of just regular emails and deposit any money. Make sure they give you a proper agreement that mentions the number of kilowatts, your address, your details, and also even little things like your ID card number should be mentioned in this, so that it can't be used as a fraud document, right? The inverter brand, the inverter panel, even the cables and the other MCBs and other equipment that they use, down to the type of aluminium that they or whatever they will be using for that structure, metal or whatever, you need to consider even those things in the agreement, so that you have a mutual agreement between the two parties. So that's something that I had after I made the initial payment. The first day when I went to office after I confirmed the project, they laid out the agreement, they explained the agreement to me, and I went through everything. And there were some suggestions from my side, things that needed to be added, which they updated. And finally we signed the agreement, and then I made the payment. And once all of that was done, they handed over the file to me, and then they got started with the whole project. So they had to get everything ready and come and start with the installation. So also once that is done, like when it comes to the payments, think about the certain offers that might be there with credit cards and all of that. I will be explaining this detail in the 9th section of this video, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to be telling you guys some awesome tips on how you can really save some money and get your whole solar system to pay your pay for that system as well. So I'll explain to you in a little bit. Next up we have the installation, which is the most exciting part of it all. After so much of discussions and all of these things, getting to actually physically see this system installed is a real joy. So before I got this solar system for my new house, back there is my old house. So for that house we've been using solar for a long time as well. So I've seen the improvements in the solar system over the past couple of years. So the system in that house is now quite outdated. So when I went with the solar system for this house, I wanted to make sure that I get the best, the latest technology that is available right here in Sri Lanka. So I had to do a lot of research to come up with that. So when it comes to the installation, after the agreements and everything was signed and the payments were made, the company sent a representative to my place to get some documents signed. So those were like the clearance documents from LECO. So I actually signed those, and they took the documents and went to the LECO office and got the approvals for the system as well. So after the clearance was done, it's about the installation now. So they took about a week or so to get everything ready and get them to my site, and then we discussed about the particular dates that we are gonna go ahead with the installation, because I wanted to be there when the installation was going on to make sure that it's done the right way, right? Thankfully the team handled it really, really well, but my suggestion to you is, no matter who does it, always be there and just make sure even the slightest thing, like for an example, let's say when they are drilling down the roof, if the sheet or if whatever tile that you have, if it breaks, you need to get that replaced or put a no leak tape or something then and there, right? If not, there could be consequences later on. You might have water dripping down your roof and all of those things that could happen potentially result in other damages as well. Most of these companies will take responsibility and do a good job, but it's always good if you are there or someone else is there to ensure that that kind of thing doesn't really happen. I wanted to be there so that I can also get this footage and show you guys the process. After the clearance is done, before the installation, they will be bringing all the items to your house. So they'll be bringing the inverter and the solar panels and all of that, and they'll be having everything ready for the installation on the following day. When you get all of this, make sure that the inverter that you get is a brand new unit, right? And also make sure that the panels that you get are not cracked in any way, and also doesn't have any marks. So just make sure that you go and see these things, and if there are any marks, make sure that you wipe it off and see whether it goes or not. If it doesn't go away, that could you potentially impact the efficiency of the panels as well. So please consider those things before you get started with the installation. When it comes to the installation, one of the first things that I personally went and did was go ahead and unbox the inverter, because it comes in a sealed box, and the company actually let me get the recording of this to show you guys as well. So once you unbox it for the first time, you'll be getting a bunch of accessories and all of that, along with the Wi-Fi dongle that you have to connect to the inverter very first. So I kept all the accessories aside, and secondly, we will find the user manual and all the other documentation inside this pouch. So if you go ahead and open it up, you will find everything listed on this user manual that is there, and also there is a quick installation guide document that outlines everything about this package contents, as well as what you have to do when it comes to the installation. Next up, we have the inverter itself. It's quite heavy. It's a Solex branded inverter, like I mentioned before, and this is a look at the bottom of the inverter. So there are two PVNs, PV1 and PV2, and also you can connect the dongle to get the Wi-Fi connection here. With the two PVs, you can connect two separate strings to this. They also had the MCBs ready here. They had two separate breakers ready to go for both of the PVs, and at the bottom we had the surge protector and all the other breakers that are necessary for this operation. They also have heavy duty wires here that they will be using for the installation, and they have all of this ready before they get started with the whole process. Once the installation team actually arrived at my location, one of the first things that they did was they went up to my roof and got an idea about how to exactly start this process. Now this is what my roof looks like. Since my house is a 3-storied house and the roof is almost at the 4th floor, because of that there's no buildings or trees around to provide any shade. So because of that we didn't have any problems, but the installation team wanted to use areas where there were wood underneath the sheet so that they can securely fix the solar panels to the roof. So there was an engineer who was involved with the process as well. So this is what the roof looks like before getting started, and afterwards what they did was they used measuring tapes to get the exact measurements to identify where exactly the panels will go and how they can use the roof surface area to the maximum potential, so that we can lay out the panels in the roof in a way that we can lay out more panels for future expansions as well. Once that was identified, now it's time to get the inverter installed. So for this, I have a separate networking area in my house. Because the electricity meter is right there, it's easy for us to connect the inverter here as well.
And the next step was to get the inverter fixed here so that we can proceed with the rest of the things. Here they took their time to get the installation of the inverter done properly. Once the inverter was installed, next what they did was they went ahead and installed the MCB here as well. It's very important that you have both of those things ready before you connect the solar panels on the roof. After that, it was about getting the solar panels on the roof. For that, we first need to get the mounts and everything ready so that we can fix the panels onto the roof. So they figured out a easier way to get all the products to the roof using this pulley mechanism. So they actually were able to get all the items including the solar panels up in this way, because there's a place from the side of my roof that has no obstructions, so they can easily pull these items up without doing any damages. Once all the mounting brackets were set, then it was about getting all the solar panels and fixing it to the roof. So this is how they actually pulled the solar panels up to my roof, like this, one by one, and they just connected each panel like this. And after that, all they had to do was just go ahead and connect each of these panels one by one to this system. So while all of this was going on, the wiring of the MCB was going on downstairs in the networking room, and in order to complete the wiring, now we had to do the wiring from the top roof to the networking area. So what these guys did was, initially the installation team identified the number of cables that were required. They got all the wires to the roof, and from there, from the solar panels itself, they have got the exact length that is required, and they kept little bit extra in case they have to do whatever changes. So here what they did was they used water pipes instead of using normal electrical conduit, because outside the water pipes withstand better, and it's safer to use these water pipes because they are stronger than the normal electrical conduit. That doesn't play really well with the sunlight, because these are going to be on the roof getting exposed to sunlight for a long period of time. And the wire that they used was one length, like there were no connections whatsoever from the point where it starts from the roof, from the solar panel up until the inverter location. There is no joints in the middle. It's one straight cable that comes in these pipes. Before finalizing this system, they also did the earthing for this system. So they connected the earth of the house to this solar system earth and did the wiring for that as well. So this is a look at the MCB once they did the wiring, and as you can see, it's a very neat installation that these guys have done here. And later on I will explain how Leco gave the connection to all of this, and later on I will also explain about my results that I got through the solar system in the past couple of days. So go through that in the next stage. And once the installation was completed, this is what my roof looks like. On an extremely sunny day, this is what the panels look like on my roof.
The installation and all of those things have been completed. Now it's up to the commissioning of the system, right? So this step is all up to the vendor really. So the first step of it all is the vendor gets the approval from a chartered engineer on the system that they have done, from the wiring of the MCB and all of that to how the panels have been mounted on the roof. A lot of things have to be considered here, and they get the approval from the chartered engineer. And also afterwards they will be sending out all the documents that they get to the electricity company. In my case it was Leco. They sent it to Leco and got the approval from the vendor, right? And even though they sent out the documents to get approval, sometimes there could be potential delays. So what you can personally do is, since the documents have now, once the vendor informs you that the documents have been submitted to Leco for the final approval, what you can do is give them about a couple of days. If you don't really hear back from Leco or the vendor, you can contact the Leco customer support team or the particular Leco branch in your city and get their idea on this whole thing. They will be giving you a reference number actually, so you can get this from the vendor, and you can use that to follow up with your particular Leco branch. So for my house is in Moratua, so for me it was the Pallimulla branch that was doing all of these things, but the payment for the solar the commissioning and all of that had to be done through the Moratua branch. But the approval and agreement signing and all of that happened in Pallimulla branch. That's the branch that's handling all the solar systems and the approvals. So once that was ready, the LECO branch actually gave me the agreement. So this is what the agreement looks like. Right now, what we get, the investment that we get, the return that we get from this solar system is per unit. They are paying us 37 rupees per unit as of right now. This is in 2023. So for me, having 37 per unit but 20 years continuously, so it's the same rate across for all 20 years, so which is a great price, because in my old house it was 22 rupees, and after about I think 7 or 10 years the rate was considerably lower, like I think 15 or something like that, I can't really remember now. So considering that rate, having 37 throughout is really great, because now consider a scenario like this, that you're not there at home at all for a month. If you're not at home for a month, you can still get a good return for the generation that you get in that particular month, right? So that is pretty great. Once the commissioning phase is over, and once the LECO team approves your document, and once you have signed the agreement and everything, the LECO team will come to your place and they will be giving the connection as well. And at that point, most of the time the vendors will also come and turn on the inverter for the very first time. So once they are here, they will open up the boxes and they will do the necessary improvements. Like for an example, with LECO, they didn't really have to change my the electricity board that I had, because I already had the latest updated board that had the e-billing feature and all that. So they didn't really have to change any of that. It was just a matter of giving the connection from the solar system to the main the LECO electricity meter, right? So your mileage might vary, so see, depending on how how new or old your meter is, they might have to replace it as well. So that might take some time depending on your scenario. So once all of these things are done, now it's about making the final payment, and now we are done with the vendor, and now the solar system should work. Now the most important thing is having an eye out on your solar system, the energy generation for a couple of days, right? Because at this point, even before you make the final payment, like the last 5%, it's better to just see the performance of the system, and if there's any problem, you can discuss with the vendor and fix it. Thankfully, in my case, I didn't have any issues. It was actually way above my expectation as well. So now let me explain to you about the generation that I got from my system, so you get an idea about what the results that I got. So this is what my roof looks like right now. So it's been about 3 months since I got the solar panels installed. So the reason for them to use this type of layout for this is because now I have room for an upgrade over here on this side. Actually, I have 2 portions of the roof, like I explained earlier. This goes in 2 separate strings. So this is one side and this is the other side. Those 2 PV1 and PV2 that you saw, well, it's divided into that. And here, now actually, I have 6 panels laid out over here. So this is 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So 6 panels here all together, and what I can do is I have room for an upgrade here for 3 more panels if I want, right? And on top of that, on this side, if I just consider, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 panels on this side, but the thing is, if I want, I can get 4 more panels over here and upgrade. And also I have the solar hot water system over here. I can actually get a couple of more panels down there at the bottom as well. Or else, if I get rid of the hot water system and mount it somewhere with the watering tanks or something like that, make a platform or something and place it on top of that, then I have this entire space to lay out more solar panels and increase my capacity overall. And another thing I want to mention is here, if you see, there's no real gap here between the panels, right? Well, that was intentional by them, because they said that they are using telescopic poles to do the maintenance and the cleaning, right? So we have used almost to the edge the panels are coming, so that the space that we have here for this is more, right? So we have used almost to the edge, so this way we can, even when cleaning, now even if someone is cleaning from here, from this point onwards, if they are using a telescopic pole, they can easily clean
even the bottom row, and from that side I actually have access to my balcony that's over there. So from the balcony they can keep a ladder and even do the corner cleaning if required. But what they told me was that they can actually do the cleaning from the roof itself by using the telescopic hole that they're using for the maintenance. So because of that I said use the maximum amount of roof, the space that is available on the roof, so that I have room for an upgrade here and over here as well. So that's why we went with this type of layout. And this is these are the pipes that they used to transport the wires and all of that. So this is what it looks like after a while. So the pipes are taken down from there and it just goes down from there to the networking room that I have at the bottom. So that's what the installation and all that looks like. So now let me actually take my phone up, and here we have the Solex app. So it's set up right now and it's operational right now. So we have the sun. It's a bit of a overcast condition today. It's covered with clouds. It's actually covered with clouds right now. And if you actually go into the Solex app and see, even though it's a bit cloudy, it's still generating about 2772 watts over here. If you see, you can see that it's generating about 2772 watts right now, and to the inverter it's getting about 2600 watts, and it's loading that up. So today so far it has generated about 35 kilowatts, and totally this month this has done about 820. So on and off we have had the rain and all of that as well, so we have to keep that in mind. And total production so far in my system has been 2.57 megawatt hours. So that's pretty great. And if I go into this particular part, I can see the breakdown for each section. I will show you this later in the in the results section that I'm gonna move forward to next. So this is the Solex cloud application that I have to manage my solar power system at home. So here at the top you will see the inverter AC power intake at the moment, and here you will see the daily yield. You will see separately the solar panels, the inverter, the feed-in load generator, as well as a battery if you have one. So right now it's about 4 in the evening, so because of that the solar generation is not so much because it's towards the end of the day right now. So the solar panel is generating about 2389 watts at the moment, and the inverter is getting in about 2246 watts right now. And you can see the illustration of it right here on the app. And totally today the yield was 35.40 kilowatt hours, and totally this month we have got 820.70 kilowatt hours. Totally for the past 2 to 3 months that I've had this system, it has generated about 2500 megawatt hours in this system. Now today is more of a overcast day. We didn't have much rain, neither did we have too much sunlight today, but getting 35 for today I think is a pretty good number. Now if I actually go into this section over here at the bottom, now this is where the history of the system can be seen. So you can see each day how it has been. So these days we have been getting a lot of rain, so because of that the generation hasn't been really good. But on this particular day, on the 16th of October, I got 56.80 kilowatt hours on just one day. So just imagine if I have extremely sunny 30 days just like this, so you will be getting amazing results from this application. So if you actually go down into separate months, now if I'm moving into September, I can see the results of it like this, right? So they also have had days where it has generated 53.10. I think that was like the highest. And even on the lower end we had about 17.40 units that was generated in a particular day. We have 15 over here and various other units over here as well. Now if I move into August, so this is the month that I actually got this system functioning. So on the 16th only we got the system up and running, and that was also midday. So the system started at about 12:30. So from 12:30 until the end of the day, on the very first day, it generated about 24.50 units over here, and the second day it generated 55.60 units here in this system. So that is pretty good. And overall, because we had good sunlight in the first few days, just in a couple of days it was able to cover up my entire power for that particular month. Whatever I used, it was, I think, about 800 I think for the month of August we had a current bill of about 700 or so units, and the system was able to generate about 719 units or something like that within just half a month, which was quite impressive. And I didn't have to pay anything as the power bill for the month of August as well. And even the month of September, overall generation for the month of September, I will show you guys electricity bill right now, so you can get an idea about the generation of this. This is the electricity bill that I got for the month of September, and as you can see, the reading was taken on the 1st of October, and you can see that the export has been 1375. So the solar system has generated 1375 units with this 10 kilowatt system that I have, and my usage was about 847 for the month of September. And here you can see the difference is about 528, and the fixed price of 600 per month. Basically, the amount that I'm going to get is going to be 528 times 37 rupees, and that's going to be an additional income for me. I just have to pay this 600 every month, which I can put as standing order, and I don't really have to worry about my electricity bill anymore. And not only that, because of the warranty, I don't have to worry about any of these things for at least another 10 years, because that's the warranty, 10 to 12 years for the inverter. So you have to you can be hassle free for the next 10 years without worrying about your electricity bills. Now it's been 6 months. This is what the solar panels actually look like. So let me just give you a close up so you can see little bit of dust buildup is there. So these panels, so little bit of dust buildup is there, as well as, I guess, because the sea is just right over there, I think little bit of sea salt buildup might also be there on these panels. So this is how the water pipes have lasted. So you can see that it has turned black from the top. That is how bright it gets in the afternoon. So you can see clearly that this side, the top part, is quite black right now. This is after about 6 months, so you can see it very clearly here. So right over here you can see this is how the pipe used to look. That's the original, and this is what it looks like now. And you can even see the dust on these as well. So let me just show you that right now. So yeah, so this is recorded in February 2024. The installation for this system was done in July of 2023. So I've been using this. The generation has been quite good. It's just that I just wanted to give you guys an update on how this system works overall and how it has been for the past several months, so you get an idea about the solar power systems performance in Sri Lanka. I'm recording this right now after about 6 months since I got the solar system installed. And if you can see from the 3 months to this, the interface of the Solex app has really changed, because the Solex team has pushed out a major update here to the app with a much more improved user interface, which is quite good. And you can see the total yield up here. Now it has gone up to 7.21 megawatt hours, which is quite good. And today's daily yield has been 48.20, and it's only about 4 o'clock so far. and I'm recording this video right now in February 2024. Before I publish this solar video to the internet, I thought of updating, giving an update after 6 months, how it has been over the past couple of months. It's covered the entire electricity bill like I discussed earlier, and the overall experience with this system has been quite positive, and even with regular updates coming into the Solex app, so I have no problem recommending the Solex and Canadian system to anyone who's interested in picking up a solar power system right here in Sri Lanka. So you can see these stats. So if I go into the MyLeco application, that is the electricity provider for me right here in Sri Lanka, you can see the amounts that I have got in the past several months. So for September, October and November, so there's like a 2-month gap between the payments. So you can see how much of units they have considered for this and how they are adding it in. So which is quite good to see that after making the electricity bill zero, to get this kind of return, I think is quite positive. Because I told you guys earlier that I will also show you a slab mounted solar based system. This is from one of my friend's houses. He also got solar right about the time that I got it installed. Where I got it on the roof, he had this mounted on his slab. So he made this structure to hold off the panels. You can actually do this in 2 ways. One way is in a way that you can really use the slab, which is quite more expensive, so the solar panels act as kind of a roof. Or you can just do what my friend has done here, where you really won't be able to use that space for anything, but you can just lay off all the solar panels like this, so you still get the same benefits where the heating of the slab and all of that is quite well reduced. And on top of that, you still get the solar power generation and all of that. So you can just have an idea about these panels. So the combination he went for is JA Solar and Solis inverter, and this is what the app looks like and what the generation is like. I did a comparison to see the performance. It's quite a lot similar. He has a 5 kilowatt system compared to my 10, but the performance is quite similar as well. So just wanted to show you guys this so that you can get an idea about slab mounted solar system as well.
Next up, for the completeness of this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the maintenance of the solar system as well. So that's the part 7 of this video, and for the maintenance, you need to check with your vendor how much of free maintenance they will give. Some companies offer 3 years maintenance, some companies offer 1 year free maintenance. Some companies might offer more or less depending on the company, but at least minimum they should give 1 year free maintenance. If they don't give it, that means there's something wrong, so definitely be aware. So after the 1 year free maintenance, you need to check with the vendor, okay, after 1 year, how much is it going to be for me to get this maintained? And you can make sure that the vendor puts that on the agreement, or you can discuss with the vendor and see, decide what you're going to do. There's no hard and fast rule saying that you need to get that particular vendor to come and do it. There are other companies, external companies that have seen doing maintenance on these solar systems as well, but it's good to get the same company to come and do, because they know what they have done, and they will take responsibility over that, the warranty period of the system. Like I said, you would get a warranty of 10 to 12 years for the inverter and 25 years for the panels that you selected as well. And also another important thing is that you keep track of the performance of your solar system, right? How much of energy is generated each day. When it's raining, how much is it generating? When it's sunny, how much is it generating? And at the end of a week or at the end of a month, just have an eye out on this solar system and the generation over the past few days, so that you know that the system is working well. This is definitely something you need to do at the start of getting a new solar system, to make sure that the system is everything is good with the system. If something is not going really well, you need to talk with the vendor and get it sorted out, right? So you need to definitely do that. And if you keep your system properly maintained, you will also get good results, right? Continuous results, and the energy and the efficiency loss on these solar panels will be lower if you keep it properly maintained. Because my house is somewhat closer to the beach, I need to make sure that I do these maintenance even once a year. What I thought was to first use this system for about a year and bring you guys a updated video on this, on the performance drop, and how much overall I've saved in a year and all of those things later on. So I will bring you guys that video later on. So if you are interested in checking that out sometime next year, definitely subscribe to my channel right now, and let me know you're interested in that by hitting on that like button, so that I will know that you are interested in such video, and so that I can bring that for you guys. Right, so once we do the maintenance, and once we select the company to get the maintenance, also make sure that the company is not just doing mopping and cleaning on the maintenance of the panels, right? Because some companies will just come with a mop or whatever and just do basic cleaning. That is not really cleaning. You need to get, there are specific tools that are there for this maintenance process that you can properly use to get the solar panels cleared. So make sure that your vendor is offering you that. So you have the right to ask your vendor about these things, and even monitoring and all of those things. Right. So with that, we are done with the installation, maintenance, and all of those things. And now I'm going to be sharing with you some valuable tips that you need to definitely consider before you get a solar system. The first step is you need to consider the banks that are offering great credit card offers for solar system. By offer, what they are mainly giving you is 0% installment options. So some banks are giving 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, even 48 months installments are available in some banks. So if you have a good income, you can even apply for a new credit card just for this purpose and get that. Because if you do that, if you get a big enough system, if you are having 100% more return that's coming in, you can actually pay the credit card bill through that. Because if you're, let's consider a scenario where you're getting 36 months or 48 months installment, you divide that up and see how much of a small amount that you have to pay in a month, right? So you can easily pay that through the solar system that you get. So right now, the way I have done the calculation for my house, I should be able to pay the, have a zero electricity bill if the weather is all good, and also get a good return, pay one of these credit card installments that I also got, and also on top of that pay my water bill as well, and have some money left over as well. So you can consider different banks, different scenarios depending on the income and all of that you have. If not, there are banks that are also offering specific loans for solar as well. However, the interest rate for that is somewhat high. But considering your scenario, if you're paying a really high current bill, if your current bill is over 100,000 or something like that, then in that scenario, it makes more sense for you to consider a system like this. Because think about it, if your bill is, let's assume it's 100,000, if you're getting very high amount of units, your bill is going to be somewhat closer to that. So if you're getting that kind of bill, if you actually do the calculation in, if you're paying 100,000 for after the end of 1 year, you're going to be paying 1.2 million, and after 2 years, that's 2.4 million, right? So you can really invest that on a solar system and not only have zero current bill, but also get something back to your account. And that's not just for 2 years, afterwards it will also continue, right? So if you get these credit card offers or whatever, it's going to be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years or 4 years maximum, right? 0%. So you pay that off after that particular time period. Whatever you get from the solar system is going to be going into your pocket as an investment. So if you have a much bigger roof, it makes more sense for you to fully upgrade your roof with the solar panels and go for that. So really think about the different options that are available, and don't just think, because it's a big amount when you think about it at the start, that you have to pay for a solar system. But you need to consider the scenario, okay, even though this is a big amount, if I break it down, because you don't have to really pay that big amount at once, right? You have to first pay an advance, and after that at stage 1 you have to pay a particular amount, stage 2 you have to pay a particular amount, after installation you have to pay a particular amount, after commissioning you have to pay a particular amount, and then finally you have a final payment as well. So the amount is going to be broken down. So you can consider different scenarios for this. So that's another tip that I want to share with you. But make sure that when you get these things, that you will be using it wisely, right? I'm not no way a financial advisor, so don't take this as financial advice. So just a quick disclaimer, but that's a tip that I would like to share with you, so that you can make the maximum out of the solar system, and hopefully you'll be able to make the best decision. So that's why I'm making this video and talking so much in detail about this thing, so that you will be able to get the best system for you, because it is a long-term investment. This is not like another small short-term investment. It's not like going and buying a AC or a TV from a showroom, right? This is something serious. This is something that will generate money for you, right? So definitely, if you have a big enough roof, solar system is definitely something you should get for your house. Next up, we have the conclusion, final chapter. So hopefully you guys enjoyed what I had to say, and hopefully found it useful. If you did, definitely share this video with your friends as well. So you need to consider getting a solar system fixed soon as possible, because of the ongoing electricity price hikes and all of that. So if you have a solar system, you have nothing to really worry about, especially the way that I told you about. If you consider all these things that I spoke to you guys about, you consider all those things, you guys will be able to make a good return from it as well, and not only get zero electricity bill, but also settle off your water bill and all of those things. So which is going to be having great financial freedom then and there. So in my opinion, as a conclusion, this is the system that I would recommend for most people. So it's a on-grid system, right, tied with the LECO or CEB, which will result in zero electricity bill depending on the number of units that you decide for the inverter and the panels, and then the investment that you get from it, because even if you're not at home, like I said before, you're going to be making a return out of that. And also, if you want, you can still get a battery installed later on, right, and make it a hybrid system with a separate inverter, and you can really get the money through this solar system that you have. The money that's coming in, if you save in a separate bank account, you can use that to get that kind of system upgraded as well in future. Initially, when you get the solar system, the payment won't really come initially itself. It will take a month or two for this to work. And let's say for an example, the payment for August will be coming only in September, right? So there might be a delay like that, so be aware about that as well. So with that, we come to the end of this video. This was a very lengthy video, but I hope I covered everything with regards to the solar system and my results, how much I invested on this, how much the types of panels I use, the type of inverter I use, the vendors that I went with, and all of those things. I'm really tired after talking for so long, so I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, definitely go ahead and share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. And until I see you guys in my next video, this is Banu signing out.